What is going on, guys? We are back with the Pokemon Platinum Draftlocke. However, this is going to be a bit of a special episode. I thought I'd go over the team and how I want to build the competitive team. Sops is doing his own thing, but we are here doing ours. So what I wanted to do is make two teams. I wanted to make one team that's kind of like best that I can make, you know, thinking about everything that I can possibly think about, you know, on my own here. But I wanted to make a second team that's a little bit more casual, but a little bit more able to compete against maybe his Trick Room side of his team, for example, versus what he can regularly do with his best 6 Mons. Now, the way that I am going to go about this is kind of the way that I go about team building anytime that I'm doing stuff, but so this is going to be a little bit of a different video for those who haven't really seen this kind of thing before. But basically right away, right, we look at his team, and I have a duplicate of each team here, but I have them sorted by speed tiers. So like his fastest Pokemon are here at the front with 130, Garchomp 102, Roserade's 90, Luxray 70, and then you see there's a big drop off, right? You actually see that there's two like fast Pokemon that are over 100. Again, this is Gen 4. We are battling in Generation 9, but we drafted in Generation 4, so. But you can see there's actually 3 pretty fast Pokemon, and then his team gets really slow really quickly. Seaking with Swift Swim only needs 16 EVs to actually outspeed everything that our team has in Rain, but he doesn't have any direct way to set up Rain. Like, he doesn't have, I guess in Generation 4 there really wasn't anything direct, but, or didn't draft like Politoed or anything like that, so he does have to use Rain Dance if he wants to set it up at all, but it would make him the fastest on the field with just 16 investment on anything that I personally had. So I kind of look at it like he has 1, 2, 3, 4 fast Pokemon, and then he has like the rest of his team are very, very slow. He has 2 Trick Room setters here at base 25 and base 35. And then really like 30 is like always Trick Room, Gastrodon's always Trick Room. Vaporeon can technically be both, like it's just slow it's slow in both forms. Same with Luxray, right? Like a slow Intimidator in a normal game works pretty well. And then a slow Volt turn actually works pretty well in regular play, but in Trick Room it's kind of the same thing, right? You're too fast. You're too fast for Trick Room, but too slow in the regular game, right? So Luxray's in that weird speed tier thing, but everything else, I think he really has 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 Mons that I think really could do really well in Trick Room, 7 if you count Luxray. And normally even Trick Room teams do incorporate like a fast Mon as well, just in case, right? So I think he has 2 modes. I think he has like Throwback, Garchomp, Roserade, kind of way with like Seaking, or I think he can go the Trick Room route. So, but looking over his team, right, obviously he drafted Garchomp first overall. It's a high tier pick. Garchomp is the best Pokemon in Generation 4. Competitively, it literally is in a tier of its own. If you actually look at it and you go to like Gen 4 for like a team building thing, you go to Generation 4, which would be like here, DDP singles. Like Garchomp's uber tier. Like it's in there with like the box legendaries. Like it's right here with like Kyogre, Latios, like Rayquaza, Salamence. Like it's in a tier of its own. So I really have to play around the Garchomp, and I think no matter what happens, it comes to every game. So even if he decides to put a weird set on one and has like a fun team as well, I think he will have Garchomp in every team. Like you draft it to be able to use it. So so I think Garchomp is like the ace of whatever team that he's gonna go for. So I think Garchomp comes no matter what. Now, with his team, he drafted 3 water types and drafted 2 ghost types. So if I'm thinking about like a good competitive team and having type diversity and stuff, it actually makes it a little bit easier for me to team build, because I can kind of pretend like he only has Gastrodon, has the same ability as Vaporeon in a way, but it has the extra ground typing, so it gives him that extra typing. But I can basically pretend like Seaking and Vaporeon don't exist just while I'm team building. Because covering Gastrodon also means that I cover Vaporeon and Seaking at the same time. Now, Sea King also has the Lightning Rod ability, so I have to actually treat it like it's a water ground type because it's going to have that ability. And then Vaporeon and Gastrodon both have Storm Drain, both absorb, Water Absorb, so they have the same ability as well. Meaning that if I treat it like he just has Gastrodon, it's like I'm covering all three of them, but I don't have to think about it. So I'm gonna take him off that just to make that a little easier. And then as far as Spiritomb and Dusclops is very easy to be setup fodder. It just doesn't really attack very hard. Like base 70, base 60, like it just doesn't hit very hard. But Spiritomb does. So I'm gonna say that Spiritomb also has no weaknesses where Ghost does. So if I take out Dusclops, I still can cover Dusclops, but I also have one less Pokemon to really think about. So this brings me down to about 8 Mons here that I think you could bring. And by speed tier, like, I think right away, my number one pick was Gyarados. So the combination of Gyarados, like, Gyarados and Garchomp interact really weird. In my opinion, like, Garchomp has the ability to beat Gyarados, but Gyarados also has the ability to beat Garchomp, so I don't think he's going to want to just trade it 1-for-1. I think he's going to want to bring things that can deal with Gyarados well. So I think Luxray is like automatic. Although Gyarados can get coverage moves with Earthquake, just its times for weak to electric. He doesn't have a lot of things that can get electric coverage. I think Luxray comes, it's his Intimidator as well, so you lower the attack stat, maybe you live, and times for a super effective move on a Gyarados will kill. So I think Luxray is like almost a guarantee on like his like serious team. And I also think Gastrodon really covers Gyarados well, specifically as well. I think Vaporeon does the same thing. Like it's one of Vaporeon or Gastrodon and Luxray, and I think basically he uses those two to kind of beat down Gyarados as you need to. So I think those Gastrodon you can interchange with Vaporeon, but I think either way that's 2 Mons plus the Garchomp, so that's 3. And then I think the next biggest thing for him to, like, what beats Luxray and Gastrodon, it would be my Torterra. So he would want something that specifically beats Torterra, and I think that means Crobat or Roserade. Now, they're both weak to Ice, they're both weak to Psychic, so I can sort of kind of use the same, and I have a Psychic type, so I can use that as like a catch-all 22 there. So I'm going to pretend like Roserade doesn't exist for the sole purpose of figuring out how I want to team build. So that kind of gives me those 4. And then I think the 5th Pokemon, I think, like I said, like Gardevoir really doesn't know, especially since we're playing Gen 9, which he wanted to play Gen 9 because Storm Drain didn't work the same way in Generation 4. So he wanted it for that ability, but he also activates Gardevoir getting the Fairy typing, which actually makes it a better answer for Garchomp, and it also makes it a better answer for Spiritomb. So I know that he drafted Spiritomb to kind of, I mean, Gardevoir ended up being the last pick of the draft, so I don't think he fully prepped for it, but I think he knew that I wanted a Psychic type, and that's a Dark type. So I think, for me anyways, Spiritomb / Crobat will probably be how he tries to deal with Gardevoir to some extent. And then I think really the last pick is Machamp for him. Machamp is just a much better Pokemon than Sudowoodo. You know, higher attack stat, better defense stat, and they're both kind of physical orientated. So I think honestly, it's gonna be like this. Like this is the 6 that I think he's gonna bring. As far as what this team possesses, there is Trick Room here that you can go for. There is Stealth Rocks on 2 different Pokemon here that you can go for. I'm not really going to go too far into movesets. I think that, you know, trying to prep a moveset just isn't really worth it all the time. But, you know, there's Defog there. There's Tailwind if he wants it. So there's Speed Control there. There's, you know, there's Trick Room or there's Speed Up here. And then there's Defog, plus there's 2 rockers. I think that actually does a pretty decent job. And of course, if it's, say it's not Crobat, say it's Roserade, there's Spikes and Toxic Spikes. Now, I think it's possible that he also brings both, but I think this team really does have a problem with Gardevoir overall. And I think that's probably going to be kind of a base of my team, honestly. But this is kind of how I think his team's going to kind of function on like a trying team. But on the second team, I think there's like a little bit more possibility. In terms of him speed creeping, anything like that, I think Crobat really just needs to be able to outspeed Raichu under any circumstance. I did have a speed tier list here that I was thinking about, so I think really he only needs to speed creep on like a couple Mons. Crobat 224 outspeeds my Raichu uninvested, which means that he can be in an attacking nature and still outspeed my fastest Pokemon. So that gives him an advantage where he can run like a little bit more bulk or do whatever he needs to do. So say you wanted to run that, you actually have 32 HP EVs, or you can put that into special attack and kind of hit harder as well. So that kind of gives him a little bit of diversity there, but I think that speed tier is where he's going to end up at. The Garchomp doesn't need to worry about... on the Pokemon that I have anyways, Garchomp beats Raichu pretty easily. It beats Rapidash pretty easily, and it beats Scyther pretty easily. So I don't think he needs to worry about outspeeding them. I mean, even if I was going to hit him with a Raichu, I'm hitting him with Hidden Power Ice, Yachi Berry. Like, that is a threat, obviously, but, you know, 1v1, like, Gastrodon's also a bring. Like, it's really hard to click an electric move, and with that particular team that I think he's bringing, I think it's hard to even click an ice move like right away. So I think that Garchomp, I'm gonna only prepare for it to outspeed Haunter. I just don't think that it's that much of a priority for him not to. So I think in terms of that, I think Garchomp at 200, but it has to be Jolly, which is actually good for me that it forces it to be an offense. It makes it be a speed nature to be able to outspeed it. But at the very least, I take away a little bit of offense to do it. We'll say it's kind of Jolly for a second, but honestly, most of these things end up being like naive, so that they can run like a mixed set if they need to. But I think 200 speed is where he's going to want to get at, because that outspeeds Haunter at max speed. And you can see here, max speed Timid, 317. That gets it 319. So I think that's probably what he's going to go for, and that gives him, again, more stats that he can throw into other things. He gets 56 that he can throw into special attack on a mix attacker, or just be a little bit bulkier, and potentially live a hit that he maybe otherwise wouldn't live. So I think we're going to think that that is sort of kind of what they're going to go for. The only other Mon that I could even see him trying to speed creep at all is... on this particular team, I don't think there's anything else. The rest of that team that I think he's bringing, he can just run full HP on everything, and I have to anticipate that. Because my slowest Pokemon is 58 speed. So even if he runs no investment, like, he will 1000% be slower. And so I think Trick Room actually ends up being like a sub category. Like, I think he could run like speed on these two, and then kind of run like a good Trick Room team out of these, because he's just so much slower that he can just invest no speed and just be bulky and do what he's got to do. So I think that's sort of kind of how that team looks. And then I think if he's looking at like a second team that's just fully committed to being fun and being Trick Room, I think he's going to want to use Sudowoodo. I think he's going to want to use things that maybe aren't, you know, maybe his best Pokemon. I could see him doing a couple things. I think those are the best mons he can bring. In terms of bulk, like, variety of how they can be used. Like, if he wants to sit there and put speed on this thing, like, he could go Seeking here and run Rain Dance and use Rain to kind of be faster than everything else, have a fast water type, but I don't think that's going to be what ends up happening. I think he's going to go with Vaporeon or Gastrodon. But on the Spunner team, I think, you know, you could really see that maybe he brings Garchomp, but maybe he leaves Crobat out. Maybe he, you know, goes with some other things. I think I'm only really going to try to prep on the competitive one. Because the fun one, like, you know, you're going to run different sets or whatever, but I think right away from my team going into it, I'm going to make 2 teams as well, but I think there's one team that I think I'm really going to focus on, and that's kind of what I'll focus this particular video on. But, so for the serious team for me, again, I think that Raichu just loses to Garchomp. It's a free switch in whenever. I think he runs a Yachi Berry. I think he'll live. He outspeeds, and then, like, I'm in trouble. So, and really, like, I still don't outspeed Crobat. Technically, he has another ground type in Gastrodon, and then I have to either predict that it's going to be, I need to have Grass Knot, or I need to have Hidden Power Ice. And I think there's just some complications with that. Especially being frail, like I don't think that it's going to be the best play. I can't fake out Stop Trick Room because Spiritom's a ghost type, so I think overall, like, Rindo Berry here makes a lot of sense. Stopping grass moves. I think Yachi Berry makes a lot of sense. Stop ice moves, and there's no other times for weaknesses here, so I think that's sort of kind of just like easy, kind of like this is what I anticipate. So there's that. So I think Raichu ends up being not the play that I want to make. Rapidash, same thing. It just gets so walled by, well, one, it gets intimidated, then it loses to Garchomp, and then it also loses to Gastrodon. That's half the team that I think he's gonna bring. I just don't think it, and it doesn't hit anything super effective on the team that I think he's bringing, so I think we're skipping that. Scyther, I think, has possibilities. It would outspeed. I think it would do well against the Spiritomb and the Machamp. But I don't see it being amazing otherwise. I mean, it could do work. It could do work like Technician, Wing Attack, you know, like, does do damage. But it is at times for weak to ice, and, you know, Gastrodons typically cover that. And, like, Crobat's super effective against it. Stone Edge is super effective against it. That Luxray could have hidden power, but it could also have, like, Fire Fang, Ice Fang. There's just a lot of things, and if it gets burned, it's also a problem. The Champ gets Stone Edges that can't miss. Like, there's a lot of things that are scary about using Scyther, so I think Scyther's also out for me. When it comes to Haunter, I think Haunter actually does okay. It gets a lot of really cool coverage moves. It gets Psychic, it gets Icy Wind, it gets Energy Ball, and Energy Ball. So there's actually a lot of things that you can do. So from there, I actually think there's validity in bringing this. It also stops Machamp from just freely clicking a move. It has Levitate, so it stops Garchomp from being able to just freely Earthquake. There's actually value there, especially where I already said that I don't think that Scyther is the best Pokemon. Toxicroak is another Pokemon that just straight up loses to Crobat, straight up loses to Garchomp, straight up loses to Gastrodon, and straight up loses to Spiritomb. So I think that's out as well. Gyarados is my ace. I think that, you know, I drafted it really high. It can beat this. It can, with one Dragon Dance, it outspeeds Crobat. I can run Earthquake and still kind of be a threat. Do this. I resist anything. I resist the stab moves of a Machamp. Gastrodon's a wall, but, you know, I did draft a Torterra for that. And I think at +1, +2, I think I still do a lot to Spiritomb no matter what. Gardevoir, I think, is actually the unsung hero of this team. it actually hits 5 of the 6 mons here super effectively. The only one that doesn't hit super effectively is Luxray. So I'm thinking that there's a world where I can really mess up this team with Gardevoir. Absol, I think it's actually kind of a cool tech here as well. Yes, I don't appreciate Machamp, but nothing on his team is gonna like having its item knocked off, and Absol is like a 130 base attack Pokemon. It's a breaker, right? It can break walls. If I put Psycho Cut on it, it actually also hits those two super effectively. And then knock everything off, and then when it's about to die, I can go for Sucker Punch and do a lot of damage. Empoleon unfortunately loses to 4 of the Mons. I just don't think Empoleon's a brain. Porygon 2 I think is actually a pretty neutral wall. It does lose to Machamp, but it does actually kind of wall Spiritomb pretty well. So, and it kind of walls everything else. I actually think I'm gonna run like a Bolt Beam and not run stab moves, because I can then hit the Garchomp, I can then hit the Crobat, I can then do some damage that way. And if I run Toxic, for example, I can stall out Gastrodon, or I can put Gastrodon on a timer, and I can put Spiritomb on a timer. And I think that actually does quite well. And then the slowest Pokemon on my team is Torterra, but that's okay because Torterra actually, without a fire move, actually handles Garchomp okay. It does beat Luxray. It can stall out, it can definitely destroy a Gastrodon, and it definitely stalls out this. So I think that's actually what I'm going to bring as my 6 here. I think that just works for me. We're in Gen 9, so I can use the new abilities, so Shell Armor for sure. I think Analytic is actually pretty good. Based on the team that he's bringing, I'm gonna want Analytic on those 3 anyways. But Download is obviously good, but I have to bring it in on a special attacker, I think. Oh, based on whatever their stats weaker. So if they have a weaker special defense, I would get the special defense boost. So what does this look like? Crobat's 80 across the board. Garchomp, I get the special attack boost. Luxray is neutral, I'd have to guess. Machamp is actually higher than physical, so that actually doesn't help me. Gastrodon doesn't help me. And Spiritomb's neutral, so I actually think Analytic is the better one. Just because I'll get the wrong download and then I'll have a problem. I could Trace, but... Dog going after this. That is so nice. Anyways, welcome to Babysitting a Dog 101. But yeah, so what I think here is Analytic is the best one. Trace could be useful, but depending on what it comes in on, I don't know. I mean, if I come in on a Gastrodon and I pick up Storm Drain or something, that's really cool. If I pick up Pressure, that actually works in my favor. You know what, there's actually kind of some reason to do it. But if I bring it in on like a Garchomp and get Rough Skin, it doesn't do as much for me, unfortunately, but there are some cool things there. I could try to do that. I could see what their ability is. I guess, really, I mean, Crobat Infiltrator, I think, makes more sense, but Inner Focus makes you immune to Intimidate, so there's that. I don't think there's any reason not to run Rough Skin. Guts or Intimidate, I mean, both kind of work. Garchomp is... Well, Machamp could want No Guard too, though. And then that's interesting, but it's not as... Like, I think No Guard's gonna be what he brings. Although Guts is good, I just think that No Guard is maybe the safer pick. Gastrodon, I absolutely think that Storm Drain is the play. And then I think here it's Pressure Infiltrator, and I think that answer is still Pressure. I just don't see anything crazy with it. So because I don't see any crazy abilities, again, I still think that Analytic might be the play. Because if you switch, I do 1.3 damage. If I'm slower, I do 1.3 damage. And there's a few Pokemon that are faster, but I can maybe see if I can work around that. Absol, I think Super Luck is definitely the play. If I'm just looking to get a crit, or if I'm looking to get damage, I definitely want Super Luck. For Gardevoir, I think I can go Trace on this, and then I still get the benefit of seeing what things are, but I can do different things. I don't think Synchronize does anything for me. Yeah, it just doesn't do anything for me. Telepathy, Gyarados, I think I'm gonna go with Intimidate. I actually think that Gardevoir is like the real ace on my team, where Gyarados is kind of just an Intimidator, and then of course we have Levitate, so I think those are good for the abilities. Thinking about movesets though, this Gardevoir actually just crushes everything. Going off power for moves, let's actually switch it to fully special, because why would you ever use a physical move on Gardevoir? Okay, so number one, I don't think we need a fighting type move. Future Sight's really cool, but it pretty much always means that Spiritomb switching in that situation, and I think honestly not doing damage right away kind of is painful. Gardevoir can get Grass Knot. I don't know if Grass Knot is better than on Gastrodon. I don't know if it's better, but we can see, we can find that out. But what I think right away, I'll put Moonblast, because Moonblast deals with Spiritomb. Going for other stab move, Psychic. And then I think there's stuff like Energy Ball that's really, really good that I could put on it, and then Energy Ball really deals with Gastrodon. Thinking about his team, I think Icy Wind's really important for those two. Although I am gonna go for Psychic. The Psychic, but then Moonblast. So I actually kind of beat them all without really needing any coverage moves. But I think Icy Wind will ease some switching predictions for me. But I think we really have the opportunity to win with just those two moves. So if we're gonna do that, I think we can maybe look at what we can do with that, and then we'll see if it makes sense to like run Substitute or run something else. Mystical Fire doesn't make as much sense. Terra Blast, Shadow Ball. I don't think we can run Psyshock just to make sure that we hit whatever. But yeah, I think that's kind of just the only two that I really need. I could Stored Power too. Our Calm Mind. Like, there's things that I could do. So I like that. And then let's look at the status category of what we can do. Yeah, let's just make sure we can do these things by name. So Calm Mind, certainly a play. I like Calm Mind. I like the idea of Destiny Bond, like just take something out with you when you're done. I like Healing Wish. Healing Wish is a good one. I think Healing Wish actually makes a ton of sense. Not that I want Gardevoir to be something that I need to sack, but it's certainly an option. And then I think, honestly, Memento could work too, but I think if I'm doing all that, then I don't think I'm that worried about that. I could run Teleport, have a slow switch. That actually kind of works for me. I could just run that. So Healing Wish, Teleport, and that would kind of at least save me the ability to do that. Although Teleport to slow switch, so I don't know if that's actually fully worth it. I don't know if that's fully worth it. Bring it in, slow Teleport out. I mean, that could be useful. Just Switch Initiative in general. I don't have any other Switch Initiatives, so I could look at that. But again, I'm also really just liking the idea of like Icy Wind, Energy Ball, and just really being able to just destroy his entire team. Like, the 4 moves, just hit hard. Give it a choice scarf, give it something. Or like expert belt. Just do something to, or like life orb would work, leftovers would work. Yeah, I think those are really the main ones, but I think that could all be very, very useful. But I don't actually think that I'm going to need all of those moves, so again, I think just those two, we'll start with that. I do think that if I'm giving the, I'm giving the Eviolite to Porygon. I don't think there's really any debate about that, but Haunter I actually think could be Focus Sash or Choice Scarf. The reason being is that I like not running a stab move at all, and I want to run Psychic, I want to run Dazzling Gleam, I want to run Energy Ball, and I want to run Icy Wind. And that way there, I have the most amount of coverage possible. We're just doing that. We're doing that. Yeah, 317 on this Haunter, I think is to outspeed. Right, I need to run the Nature to outspeed Roserade. Like, I need to make sure that outspeed. I think I need to make sure that outspeed. Right, so I was trying to make sure that Garchomp had to be faster. Because I'm gonna see right here if he speed creeps at all. Because if he does speed creep, then I'll know, and if not, I outspeed and do a ton of damage. So I think that works for me. After the Icy Wind, it's not gonna matter. But this could honestly be a lead for me, and just hit whatever's in front of me, not even worry about it. Like if I run a Choice Scarf on this and just said, like, come at me with whatever, I think that certainly could be a play. Start slowing things down with Icy Wind. Gyarados I actually think could run a substitute set here. Waterfall hits everything on that team. Waterfall hits everything on that team except for Gastrodon for at least neutral damage. Ice Fang is all that else that I would need. And then you run like substitute Dragon Dance. And then run like leftovers on that. And then for Gyarados, we'll figure out the Speedy Bees here in a minute. But I think maybe that is something that's really, really good. Just hit hard, hit everything hard. I could even run Focus Sash if I wanted to. And then I could run like Choice Scarf on Gardevoir. And then that kind of saves that matchup up. And then it makes sense to have Healing Wish. It wouldn't make sense to have Teleport though. So I'd have to think of something else. Maybe I run Destiny Bond or something. On, could be good. Damn, I'm scarfed. I guess I just go Psyshock then, right? Like go Psyshock, Psychic, Moonblast. With Healing Wish, and then I can just make sure that I'm hitting whatever I need to hit. Although I think most of his team, like we looked at, like it doesn't really matter. The stats aren't crazy different. So what else could be run? Destiny Bond. I mean, I could just Fast Wish. But I think I'd Healing Wish if I was gonna do that. A Fast Memento would be kind of cool. But I think if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do Healing Wish late game. We could trick a Choice Scarf onto something that doesn't really want it. Could be an option. Future Sight switch out. Psychic Noise, no. Shadow Ball I don't think is worth it. We can do Taunt. Taunt, I think, work. Trick, I think, could be... Yeah, I think Trick worked, actually. Trick, Healing Wish. And then that way there, if we don't have that, we can still kind of do other things. Because I do think that Spiritomb might come in on Gardevoir. We can kind of scout that out. We'll switch the first time, and then see. Absol, I think, is just do damage. I might even try to go for a Scope Lens. And do as much damage as absolutely possible. Because there's no, like, even on the popular items, like, I think it doesn't matter, but Life Orb, but I think, yeah, if we want Focus Sash, Leftovers, Toy Scarf, Goodbye Life, yeah. Scope Lens I really want to do. If this was Generation 4, I'd so badly want to do this and just go, like, knock off with, like, Night Slash and Psycho Cut. And just do that. I think that'd be really, really fun to do. But, unfortunately, because we're playing the new generation, but I could still do this in a way. But I think Swords Dance just gives me, like, an option. But, like, if he decides to switch on an Absol, like, that I can just do so much damage. So, I do think that's an option. But Scope Lens I just don't think is worth it based on everything. But we'll see, we'll see. Porygon 2, I think I'm actually going to run a Charge Beam set. Charge Beam, Ice Beam, and then run Toxic Protect. I think what this does is there's a 70% chance that you raise your special attack by one stage. The thing that's always kind of annoyed me about Porygon is that sometimes it's setup fodder. So I think if I start setting up with a Porygon with like a move that doesn't really officially set up, that I get to +1, Charge Beam turns into Ice Beam, and then I do damage to Crobat and this. And Ice Beam is still neutral on Gastrodon, so it actually does okay there. And I wall the Spiritomb anyways. And I'm never staying in on the champ, and then I wouldn't be going for Charge Beam against this anyway, so I think that's all I need to kind of just wall that out. And then Torterra is the other interesting one. Shell Armor, I think I should be running a Yachi just to kind of protect myself from a random ice move that's going to be kicking around. I think that it's going to be the tech for Gastrodon to try to beat me. So I think if I just run, like, Earthquake, Seed Bomb, I probably just take care of everything as is. Body Press I don't think is necessary. We could Crunch, but I think I'm actually okay if I just did, like, a Leech Seed. I could do Leech Seed Protect. The other option is I could run Light Screen and Reflect. I don't think he would expect that move on those Pokemon, on that Pokemon at all. But it would give the team a little bit, actually kind of like that. So let's go with a Light Play. And we'll run Reflect and Light Screen. I don't think he'll expect that at all. Especially after him complaining that Dusclops doesn't get screens the whole game. I think it'd be really funny to have like a Pokemon that he just does not expect to have Light Screen or Reflect, and then just be able to, like, we're a pretty frail team, so I think being able to have screens actually does do a lot for me. I just don't have a Stealth Rocker anywhere, and normally when you have that type of setup, you absolutely want that setup, so it's a little painful that I just don't have the move slots to be able to just keep that going. But this is my one main answer for Luxray, so I can't not have Earthquake, and I definitely can't not have Seed Bomb for the Gastrodon, so I think I have to do that because I can't not show it, and you know what I mean. I guess I could look I do think that I need it though, but energy ball there. I could decide to not have trick, and I could do like the icy wind energy ball thing that I was thinking of. Or grass knot, sorry, is what I was looking at. But yeah, energy ball, grass knot. Grass knot do more. We'll find out right now. Damage count. Okay, so with the damage count, let's look at Gardevoir. And a blank set. And then we'll look at Gastrodon. The blank set. And then I'll just leave everything absolutely neutral. And we'll say Energy Ball. We'll say Grass Knot. And what does more damage? Energy Ball is the KO, and Grass Knot is not. So Energy Ball is 100% the play every time. Okay. So that answers that question. Energy Ball beats that. 125, 115. I'm pretty sure that Haunter still one-shots that as well. So, but that is an option. So maybe we do this. Maybe we do Energy Ball. The only thing is I'm not going to want to be Scarfed in that situation. I'm going to want to be something else. Maybe Expert Belt. And then I go like Icy Wind. I think I might have to do that. Because I'm not going to want to be losing HP. My team isn't that weak to rocks. Heavy duty boots doesn't really make a ton of sense. Life Orb, I don't want to be losing health when I don't have much health to begin with. So yeah, I think that Expert Belt is actually the play. Oh, I could run Assault Vest though too. And just be kind of like the special one on the team, like kind of unofficially. But it's not like he doesn't have that many special attackers though either, so I guess it doesn't make a ton of sense. But I think that actually works. I think that actually worked. I don't think there's any particular berry that I want to run. I could run Air Balloon just to make sure that the Garchomp can't Earthquake. And that would give me 3 Pokemon off the ground for that, but I don't think that makes a ton of sense. I could do Light Screen Reflect on Gardevoir as well. Save Torterra, so I could do Light Screen Reflect, do Light Play there, Light Play, and then I could leave that open to do Stealth Rocks, and then Leech Seed. And that could be some kind of way to get around things. I don't know if Leech Seed's the play though, but that is something. That is something we could look at as well. I could Rock Polish. I don't think he would expect me to be able to Rock Polish things. Or I could well, I could actually try to have a move for the Crobat. So run like, I want Wood Hammer. Run Synthesis. And that would allow me to run Wood Hammer and just generally hit things harder. But I don't think I actually need to do that much more. I don't think I need to do that much more. But Synthesis would work with Wood Hammer a little bit better. Give me some healing. Oh, I want to recover on this, not recover. Yeah, I could do Synthesis, recover, and then I have a setup. I have 2 setup sweepers and then 2 just really hard hitters. But I have a screen user. Yeah, I think I actually really like that. Actually, I think this worked. I could switch the Sash for Choice Scarf now though, because I've freed up some space. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Choice Scarf. Just outspeed things, just do the damage. I have an Intimidator, I have a Toxic user, I have a lead with rocks. I think that works. I think that really works. Okay, so now thinking about speed tiers on these guys, I did have my speed tiers kind of figured out here. So 216 is what I wanted for this, 216. And that gives me the most amount of space to do this. Definitely want to make sure I have 0 IVs in special or in physical attacks. That gives me 40 HP, so it's a little bit more bulk than I would have had otherwise. Gyarados. Gyarados, I was looking at 168 with that nature. 168 with that nature. One second. Damage calc. 168 on a Gyarados. Outsped everything. So I need to get to 350. I need to get 350. With the Dragon Dance, it's +1. If I go Adamant, I can do it. And I need to hit 351. So I can do it with 144. But if I'm not in that speed category, I think I don't outspeed a Luxray at max speed. Not that I think that Luxray is going to be max speed, but I certainly can't. In regular, I'm 240, 234. Yeah, so if this is a max speed Luxray for any reason, I guess I'm not staying in on it anyways. Okay, we're gonna do 144. We're gonna do 144. And that way they're at +1 I outspeed Crobat, which lets me run this and lets me actually run a lot of HP. I like that. With an Adamant nature. So at +1 under a substitute, I think that's the way to go about it. Okay. That covers that, covers that. Gardevoir. Gardevoir, I think I only cared about outspeeding Roserade. No, I didn't. It's faster. I don't think I had to worry about speed at all. No, for Roserade it was the same stat. So 176 speed. 176 speed. Outsped the Luxray. Outsped the Luxray. Hit as hard as you can. And boom. Okay, I like that. So this outspeeds with Dragon Dance, but this outspeed normally. So we have to remember that at the current moment, Gardevoir is actually faster than Gyarados. That's how we have to play that. Okay. Absol, I think, speed tier-wise, there wasn't much. Oh, 216. So I was trying to outspeed a max speed Luxray as well with that. Which I think I have to do. I think if I'm committing to speed, I have to commit to speed. So, okay. So 216 with a boosting nature. 216 with a boosting nature. I think we go just full physical. That covers that. Night Slash versus Sucker Punch. I still don't know what the better play is. I think that the high critical hit ratio, I'm going Super Luck, I'm going Scope Lens. I'm gonna get a crit. I'm gonna get a crit. But Psycho Cut does it as well. So I think maybe there's a world where Sucker Punch makes sense, but actually, you know what? A +2 Sucker Punch though does so much damage. I don't even think I need to worry about it. Maybe I commit to the Focus Sash being here. Just say, you know what, I can get a Swords Dance for free. Could work. Could work. No one's gonna Mental Herbie. Yeah, no, we're fine there. So I think that's actually the play then. We'll go max attack. And then just 40 in HP. Okay, Porygon. Porygon, I don't think there's anything that I really need to outspeed, to be 100% honest with you, but 48 speed beats everything else. Okay, so 48 speed. So we're saying 48 speed is all that I need to outspeed those things. Then I want max HP for sure. And then I think we'll figure out whether this is a physical wall or a special one. Portera probably is the physical, so Porygon is probably the special. Although I can make some sort of combination of mixed. So we can't look at that. Then we need to look at Portera. Portera needed 80 to outspeed. Yeah, just to hit that speed stat. Then again, I think I'm gonna go max HP, and I think, depending on how much I need to beat a... Yeah, let's do the damage calculator for Portera. Ooh, I could shell armor too, but I don't even... not shell armor, but what's it called? Okay, we're gonna Earthquake. And we're gonna Seed Bomb. So what I'm looking for is how much investment I need to outspeed, well, beat a Luxray. Say that it's a bulky one. We'll say that it's full bulk, but we'll also give it full like attack stat. So no defensive investment, but full HP. Earthquake almost kills without any investment whatsoever. Again, we will be Adamant. And Adamant has a chance to kill anyway. So how much do I need? I want to get it to like... That's a 62% chance to OHKO. I think I just want it to be a guaranteed. Yeah, we'll do this. So Seed Bomb, so 180, we definitely kill a Luxray. And then Gastrodon. Running 252, and we'll even... I don't think that's going to be the case, but even at 252, this should be, yeah. So I only need to have 180 investment into HP. So let's make that actually work. So 180 at 299, 109 attack, yep. At 31 IVs. This says we should be hitting a different stat though. I don't know that kind of concerns me. Why? Gen 9 National Dex? Why is that showing a different stat? Like, this is saying 299. Oh, because I wasn't... Right. Okay. My bad. Okay, 180 with a boosting nature. There we go. Yeah, I need to go back to that. Luxray. My bad. Okay. Yeah. 180 is all that I needed. I mean, I could live with, like, that being like a 93%, but my luck I would get the low roll, so we're just gonna go with 180. 180 does that, and then I can run the rest in HP. That makes me fairly bulky. It still makes me like almost max bulk. But I get the speed I need to outspeed a... at least Gastrodon at like a random speed stat. Yeah, it's uninvested Vaporeon is what I was trying to beat. Yeah, so we beat an uninvested Vaporeon with everything on this team. So that actually does pretty much everything that I need to do. Charge Beam also outspeeds uninvested Vaporeon, so that I can get a Charge Beam on that. Do super effective damage there. I think that all looks really, really good to me. But I just need to figure out, in terms of stats, I mean, if I'm trying to just beat physical things, is it better for... I think it's better to do HP if you're trying to just be mixed. But I think if you're doing just straight defense, it might actually be better. Garchomp. We'll say blank set. We'll put that 252 there. We'll go for like the strongest moves that it can go for. So outrage, earthquake. Max attack, adamant. Torterra with. Does this Torterra has 80 speed? And then we're rocking out with 248 is what we can rock out with whatever. That brings me down to 52 to 62. And that brings me to 59. So if I'm gonna be physical defensive, I think that's the play. I think I go full physical investment. 248. I let this be the physical wall. Oregon, I allow to be the special wall there. Charge Beam heals me up. Yeah, I think that's actually the way to do it. I think that's the way to do it. So we do that. That looks like everything is set. That gives us 3 special attackers, 3 physical attackers. That looks pretty good to me. So I think that is our actual competitive team going into it. I think for a fun team though at the end, I think what I'd like to do, because Sox was complaining about reflect and light screen so much, I think I'm gonna bring a team that's just strictly designed to, if it can get light screen or reflect, I will have it to the team. So reflect. Okay, this team doesn't get light screen, but it does get reflect. Okay. So maybe we'll see. Okay. Reflect. Nope. This team does get light screen. Okay. Light screen does not. Reflect does not either. Okay. Okay, that works for me. So Haunter is off of this team. Toxicroak. Nope. Reflect? Nope. So you are off this team as well. Gyarados, I know, gets one of them, right? Yeah, it does get Reflect, so it can be here. Gardevoir gets both. So you can be here. Absol. Does not get Reflect. Does not get Light Screen. Absol is out of here. Okay, Empoleon. Doesn't get one. Okay, does not get either one, so Empoleon is gone. Porygon can get both. Oh, and only gets one. Okay. But then Torterra gets both. Okay. Reflect. Light screen. Okay, so since that one gets both, there's 7 mons here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What do I think is just the worst mon out of all of these? Because I think Raichu can actually still kind of take out the thing. Like, obviously Torterra's in both teams, Porygon's in both teams, Gardevoir's in both teams, Gyarados is in both teams. I think... See, Rapidash is just so useless, though. It's so useless in the matchup. I don't know. Especially if he brings Sudowoodo. Yeah, I can't. I don't think I can justify Rapidash. There's just no versatility. I mean, there's Baton Pass. What can this thing do? Okay. Run Flare Blitz. Doesn't seem very good, but we can run Flare Blitz. We can run Mega Horn. We can run high horsepower, Play Rough, Wild Charge. We don't even have a water type that I really care about that. Yeah, there's just I really did think that I was gonna enjoy having Rapidash, but I just don't think I just don't play at all. It can Morning Sun, Baton Pass. I just don't. Swords Dance, it has some sort of setup. It can Willow. Nah, Rapidash ain't it. Rapidash just isn't it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so Scyther can come. So okay, so now we're gonna actually try to like make something of a real team out of this, but everything can Light Screen Reflect. We have established that. So obviously Gardevoir or Torterra is gonna be that. I think we'll do the same kind of setup though. I think we'll do Light Play on this. Trace. We'll still make sure that we can handle everything. Moonblast, and Psychic, Light Screen, and Reflect. I think we'll still make sure that we have Stealth Rocks. I'll make sure that some of it's like the same so that he doesn't know fully that like it just wasn't something I was even thinking about. So we'll do Stealth Rocks. We'll still do Earthquake. And we'll still do Seed Bomb. So we still look like we can do everything. So 180 with Adamant Nature. Like we're still gonna make sure that it's all good. We're still gonna make sure it's all good. Porygon, create, we do the 2, and then we do this. We do the Violite, or we still do Analytic. I don't know if we have to do Charge Beam again, but we can still certainly do it. Charge Beam and Ice Beam. We can do Toxic and Cover. So this is all gonna look the same to him. I don't think he'll be able to see the difference. Oh, what nature did I put Porygon originally? I didn't give it a nature. Okay, so we're gonna make it minus attack, raise special defense, 305, 308. Yeah, that works for me. Okay, is there anything else that I missed putting a nature on before I do this? Okay. So, that works for me. That works for me. So all that looks the same. Hit hard. Do that. Gyarados. So, what are we missing from the other team? We're missing Absol. So it's Absol and Haunter. So in theory, I could still run a very similar team. I still think the Dragon Dance is like the fun step to use though. And I still think it's possible to get the setup, which is the thing, even in Trick Room or not. I guess I should prep as though he's gonna have Trick Room or something though this time. But, okay. Leftovers. We'll do Waterfall. Ice Fang. The Dragon Dance. It was 140 something? 144. Okay. 144. Adamant Nature though. Hit him hard. Do that. Works for me. The 4 and the 6 look the same. There's no difference that he sees. So Technician, what is a Scyther run? I guess that's the first question. So right away, I think we have to Scarf this. I don't think there's any way around that we can Scarf it, and I think we have to put Turn on it right away. I think Knockoff is good utility. Making this somewhat viable, I think you're probably going with... What are the moves? Not Bug Buzz, not Parablast, Lunge? Can lower physical attack stat? Psycho Cut. Ooh, Choice Scarf Scyther could beat Crobat, technically, right? Although I'd be using Raichu for that, so I guess I wouldn't. What else? Machamp. Handle Machamp pretty well, though. I guess I'm looking for like a 60 base power move. So Aerial Ace, maybe? Aerial Ace Bug Bite? Yeah, let's do that. Bug Bite. So then I can use a berry if someone tries to use it on me. So I think that works. I think we just run max speed. If we're scarfed anyways, I don't even think it matters. We can run Adamant. We're already one of the fastest mons. I would assume that you could just do that. And then we'll run a slight bit more physical defense. I see no reason that we wouldn't just be able to do that. So that covers that. With Choice Scarf, you should outspeed that. And then Raichu, I think if we decided to run Raichu with... I think we have to do Lightning. Well, I think we have to do Static. I definitely want to do Focus Sash. And then I really need this Raichu to just be like an MVP. So... Physical or special? That's the real question. Grass Knot doesn't kill Gastrodon though. That's the only concerning thing. It's a fun set, but it doesn't kill it. Okay. Then what is the other op? Don't like Wild Charge. Thunderbolt's like the strongest move and like not even like debatable. I think if we're just trying to paralyze things though, Discharge. Let's Grass Knot and Hidden Power Ice. Hidden Power Ice. Grass Knot. That way there we hit 3 mons pretty well. And then I think Extreme Speed. That's an option, Extreme Speed. Or we could Volt Switch. And then I have Volt Turn. I think I like that. I think that works. This outspeeds everything except for Crobat, which we don't have speed. But you're already maxed anyways, so I guess we would run... We're running a full special set, so actually that doesn't even matter. Running a full special set doesn't even matter. Okay. Well, then I'm not going to waste the EVs on it. I'm just going to do that. And we'll do that. Yeah, there's no point wasting EVs on that. That makes Crobat at least have to respect that it could be speed. Although I don't handle Trick Room any better on this team, though. I guess I should be putting Taunt or something, right? I don't know. I think that's fine enough, though. I think that's fine enough. No attack. So 1 special attacker, 2 special attacker, 3 special attacker. Yeah, I mean, that works for me. So I think we're gonna rock up this thing. Actually, Scyther. Choice Scarf. I could put Heavy Duty Boots and then not be worried about Rock. As well, since it's ×4 weak to it. And I don't have any way to remove it at all. I think I actually have to do that, actually. Oh, did I never figure out an item for Torterra? Like you on the other team? I had light clay on it. I never figured an item for it. Okay. So okay. Figgy Berry confuses if minus attack nature. I think Figgy Berry is the one to do. Right? Just like Figgy Berry. And I can do Figgy Berry twice. Confuses if minus attack nature. Yeah, so I can use Figgy Berry, that's fine. Shell armor is the way to go. Analytic, trace, intimidate, technician, yes. Static, yes. I like choice scarf, but heavy duty boots makes so much sense. But I guess it doesn't matter. Alright, fine. That's how we'll play it. Honestly, I could even try to like bait and run like air balloon or something. I can run a eject button. Like there's so many things I could run on this. What else is there? Yeah, I think that's just the play. I think that's just what we're doing. Eject button. Soldier survives the hit, it immediately switches to a chosen ally. That's a thing you could do, though. It's certainly a thing you could do. But I think I like the focus dash. I think that just does what I want it to do. So, I think that is our two teams. So, this is fun. This is Reflect Light Screen team. Screen team. And then this is real team. Okay. So real team and screen team. So that covers our team building for these two. I hope that kind of explains things for you guys. I don't know how many of you guys would have known like speed creeping or like EV calcs like this way, but I think honestly like this team looks pretty solid. I don't know how I'll do. Honestly, Socks is better than me when it comes to battles on Showdown for sure. So we'll see. I think he has the advantage just knowing that like he's beaten me all the time playing. So we'll see how it goes. But I have two teams here, so we'll have some fun with it. I'm hoping the teams are close enough that, and they were mons that like you could see being brought in like a certain scenario. So I think there's a world where it makes sense. But this Raichu also helps out a little bit better, I guess, if like it ends up being a rain team or something. I guess I'm just gonna have to live and figure out how to deal with Trick Room, but I know that's definitely a strategy on his team. But anyways, we're gonna wrap up today's episode right here. So thanks everyone for watching. I know it's a little bit longer one, but thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you guys in the next one.